What if the key to helping young people thrive is something as simple and as powerful as a nest? Close your eyes for a moment. Picture a city 10 years from today where children are truly thriving. What do you see? Well, you might imagine great schools, safe streets, parks filled with families. And those things matter, but they're only part of the picture. Now open your eyes, because underneath all of that, oftentimes hidden in plain sight, are the things that we don't always see: a sense of belonging, feeling valued, having spaces where young people can grow to their fullest potential. Opportunity matters, but on its own, it's not enough. We need a nest. Today's youth are always reachable, always scrolling, always surrounded by people, and yet still, so many feel so profoundly alone. After all, being connected and feeling like you belong are two very different things. And right now, young people are navigating belonging in a whole new way. They can move from space to space, online, offline, school, home, but belonging doesn't automatically travel with them. So the question becomes, where do they find it? Well, that question isn't hypothetical for me. It's actually the reason that I'm standing here today. I founded my nonprofit Nest for Us when I was just 13 years old, building on my early experiences giving back, even back in elementary school, from volunteering with my family at community events to packing sandwiches for the local homeless shelter. I fell in love with service because it gave me a way to contribute, connect with people, to feel part of something bigger than just myself. So I set out to create more of those spaces, especially for young people who either didn't have the access or just didn't know how to get involved. But once I started building Nest for Us, I realized how hard it was to be taken seriously. After all, I was a 13-year-old CEO trying to redefine what service even looked like. And as a young woman of color, in a space where not many people looked like me, I often had to prove that I even belonged before my ideas were even considered. And in those moments, I saw how fragile belonging can be, and how quickly it can be questioned or even pulled away. And when that sense of belonging is shaken, like a bird losing its nest, it completely reshapes how we move through the world. That's when I discovered we often encourage young people to step up, but we don't always support them once they do. And that gap between being invited in and being truly supported is where we start to see belonging break down. For me, bridging that gap became my reason to reimagine what a nest could look like. Now in nature, a nest takes time to build, not created in a single moment, but built over time, branch by branch, through repeated care, showing up again and again and again. And one of the most underrated ways that we build that kind of belonging is actually through service. So whether volunteering at a soup kitchen, planting a tree, tutoring a kid, we often treat service like a nice to have, maybe an extra add-on, something you do if you have time or only if it's a requirement. But service is more than that. It's people showing up for each other. It's the infrastructure from which community is built. I mean, think about it. We invest in roads, schools, hospitals, because communities can't function without them. And I believe service should be seen the same way. Service also functions as a third space outside of home and school, where status and screens don't follow you in, where what you contribute matters more than how you're perceived, and where belonging gets built through action rather than approval. In the context of a nest, it's only one of the branches, not the whole structure, but a critical part of how it's built. Now, young people walk into service thinking, they're just there to check off some tasks or complete a set amount of hours. But over time, these experiences begin to take on a whole new meaning. They make new friends, they learn a new skill. Some even realize that the person they came to serve has something to teach them too. And what's powerful is how early that can begin. I think about one of our youngest volunteers, Aiden, who volunteered for the first time in his entire life at just, get this, 3 years old. Now, you might expect a child that young to stand back and hesitate, but he didn't. Aiden's eyes lit up, and he jumped right in, writing notes, packing snack bags, fully engaged. Not just because he was given the opportunity, but because in that moment, he knew, even at 3 years old, that he could make a difference, right then and there. And what I love most about leading Nest for Us is that I get to see moments just like this happen every single day. From people as young as 3 to as old as 90, Thousands of volunteers from around the world come together each year to create millions of dollars worth of community impact. But the most meaningful outcome isn't actually what gets packed, donated, or delivered. It's that sense of purpose people discover when they realize that they can make a difference. And what I've learned over the years, building a nest, a home, a community, a family for all of us, is that if we want more children to thrive, we don't just need more programs and policies. While those are important, we need to also create more spaces where young people, perhaps for the first time in their entire life, feel that their presence in a room truly made a difference just by being there. And that's why place matters. The Obama Presidential Center is the perfect example of how a space can be more than just functional. It can invite people in, can hold stories, create connections, help people feel part of something bigger than just themselves. And in a city like Chicago, it becomes an anchor for belonging, a place where every child can see themselves as part of the city's story. But every city's different, and every nest looks different. There's no single blueprint. It's built by the people within it, branch by branch, relationship by relationship, moment by moment. So here's my ask. Find one young person and ask them, what do they care about? What do they love? What makes them light up? Or even what they would change about the community. Then help them take one step toward it. Open one door, make one connection. But don't just make it and walk away. Stick with them and show up again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next, and the next. That is how you add a branch to the nest. All you need to do is be genuinely curious about that kid and be willing to follow exactly where that leads. Now close your eyes one last time and picture that city from the very beginning. But this time, look deeper. Look at the networks of care, trust, and connection that make it all possible. The spaces where young people feel seen. Those moments where someone showed up. The opportunities where they weren't just included, but were truly welcomed. See the nest holding it all together, that foundation of belonging built collectively by all of us. Now open your eyes. Children thriving in that city will not be there by accident. They will be there because we built a nest and because we gave them a chance to help build it too. Thank you.